Hello and welcome, this is your boy Jack here to do another reaction video. This time this video I'm reacting to would be from Immortal Technique, and the title of the track would be Dance with the Wolves. Oh sorry, that's a Kevin Costner movie, never mind. It's titled Dance with the Devil. This track was suggested to me by Elvis Gabriel, and before we start, I would like to say I have heard of Immortal Technique, but I've never actually listened to any of his tracks. At least I don't think I have, but I've heard of him back in the day, I think back in college, and I've heard a lot of good things about him, but I never really did get the opportunity to actually listen to him, so I'm actually curious to see how this goes. So I guess we should get this reacting party started. This is Immortal Technique, Dance with the Devil. So yeah, let's get this reacting party started, baby. Alright, here we go. Looks animated. Okay, we'll see. Hold up. Okay, I know. Well, that is the theme song for Love Story featuring Ryan O'Neal and Ali McGraw. I think it was composed by Harry Mancini. I'm not quite sure. It's a very old. Oh god. The only reason why I remember this, I do remember watching this as a kid with my dad and realizing that it may be titled a love story, but it is so freaking tragic. That story, it was so I guess as a kid, I guess it was so gut-wrenching to watch something like that happen, only to find out years later, I'm not sure how true this is, that the actors Ryan O'Neal and Ali McGraw couldn't stand each other at all. They hated each other while filming. I'm not quite sure how true it is, but if that was the case and they couldn't stand each other, then I have to admit, I have to say, they were actually fantastic actors, because they actually made it. They actually portrayed those characters well, that you actually believe that those two people were actually in love with each other. And yeah, but as I said, tragic, I guess. If you haven't had a chance to see it, I would recommend you actually go and watch it. It is, that's if you're into tragedies and stuff like that. Anyway, sorry, I'm gonna take it back. We're gonna start again. Alright. Weird. Some weird cut. It didn't seem seamless, the transition between.
I once knew a nigga whose real name was William. His primary concern was making a million, being the illest hustler that the world ever seen. He used to fuck movie stars and sniff coke in his dreams. A corrupted young mind at the age of 13. Nigga never had a father and his mom was a fiend. She put the pipe down, but for every year she was sober, her son's heart simultaneously grew colder. He started hanging out, selling bags in the projects, checking the young chicks looking for hit and run prospects. He was fascinated by material objects, but he understood money never bought respect. He built a reputation cause he could hustle and steal, but got locked once and didn't hesitate to squeal. So criminals he...
Oh wow, okay. He got locked and didn't hesitate to squeal. That's not good, especially if you're actually in the game, you know. Snitches get stitches? That's the same? Yeah, that's the same. Snitches get stitches, so I'm not quite sure how exactly he plans on attaining his goals if he's already caved in during his first arrest. Anyway, let's go back. I really love the story. It's actually very descriptive. What's going on? It's like he's telling a story about, I believe, Billy. Oh, is it Will? Oh, you know what? I'm going to take it back because I'm actually curious to know what the name of the character is, and it's very descriptive. It's actually telling a very, very gritty urban life story. I guess the ghetto life story, and how I guess someone could actually sort of the progression, how things can pile up on one another and end up creating this really horrible or changing the potential, the life potential, the possibilities of this of people as a whole or as individuals. And in this case, I guess Billy or William.
I once knew a nigga whose real name was William. His primary concern was making a million, being the illest hustler that the world ever seen. He used to fuck movie stars and sniff coke in his dreams. A corrupted young mind at the age of 13. Nigga never had a father and his mom was a fiend. She put the pipe down, but for every year she was sober, her son's heart simultaneously grew colder. He started hanging out, selling bags in the projects, checking the young chicks looking for hit and run prospects. He was fascinated by material objects, but he understood money never bought respect. He built a reputation cause he could hustle and steal, but got locked once and didn't hesitate to squeal. So criminals he chilled with didn't think he was real. You see, me and niggas like this have never been equal. I don't project my insecurities on other people. He fiended for props like addicts with pipes and needles, and so he felt he had to prove to everyone he was evil. A feeble-minded young man with infinite potential, the product of a ghetto-bred capitalistic mental.
Oh, I love that line. A feeble mind with infinite potential. Jeez, those are the ones that when things go wrong, they could go really, really wrong. It's like you have so much potential, but you channel it the wrong way. As obviously this character, William, is channeling. I do believe basically what he's saying, if he had a different opportunity, a different role model, this character, William, keep calling him character, sorry, it's the animation is actually messing with my head. So it's like William would, due to his infinite possibility, would have succeeded in an alternate lifestyle had he had the opportunity. That's what I'm getting from this. Let's go back. Wow, I'm only a minute to and 12 into this, and there's so much to actually analyze. It's brilliant.
Securities on other people. He fiended for props like addicts with pipes and needles, and so he felt he had to prove to everyone he was evil. A feeble-minded young man.
I know I missed that the first time, but it was like fiending for props, like an addict with needle, something of that sort. That's absolutely brilliant metaphor, actually. You know how addicts are so always looking for the next high. Apparently, this kid here has the same problem. He wants to be respected, and he would do anything to actually attain that respect. That is brilliant metaphor, comparison.
With infinite potential, the product of a ghetto-bred capitalistic mental. Coincidentally, dropped out of school to sell weed, dancing with the devil, smoked until his eyes would bleed. But he was sick of selling trees and gave in to his greed. Everyone trying to be trife never faced the consequences. You probably only did a month for minor offenses. Ask a nigga doing life if he had another chance. But then again, there's always the wicked that knew in advance. Dance forever with the devil on a cold cell block. But that's what happens when you rape, murder, and sell rock. Devils.
Oh wow, that is insane. It was like, ask someone who's actually spending life in prison and see if they get a second chance to go back before they actually did whatever they acts of violence or whatever they actually did. Would they actually take a different path? I was like, that's a possibility, but then again, they're always there. You do have some who actually are aware of what their actions are going to lead and would regardless take the same road again. That is very, very deep. That is insane. That is brilliant. It's like, yes, there are people who are just plain old evil and would do the same thing if given chances. So I'm glad that he actually, so it's actually talking about acknowledging that there are people who, I guess, you can't really redeem them. Which basically means, I mean, I should probably, you can't redeem them as in, even though they are aware of what the consequence is. It's if you basically transplant the individual in death row and send him with his faculties intact and memory intact, they would still go back and do the same thing as opposed to taking a different track. That's deep.
Dance forever with the devil on a cold cell block. But that's what happens when you rape, murder, and sell rock. Devils used to be gods, angels that fell from the top. There's no diversity because we're burning in the melting pot.
Devils are angels who fell from the top, which is true. It's like everyone starts out a certain way, and whatever happens, they diverge. They could either be good, bad, or whatever, or somewhere in the gray area.
So Billy started robbing niggas, anything he could do to get his respect back in the eyes of his crew. Starting fight.
Okay, I knew it was, alright, he just called the same character Billy as opposed to William, so I guess the transition, I know William and Billy are the same thing, but I'm thinking in this case it's like the transition from William. This is someone who's actually starting out, who's changing from this respectful kid who gets into the drug game or whatever, who slides into the drug game and everything. He gets arrested, he comes out, and he tries to change who he is. And now this second chapter of his life, this new alter ego, or this new personality, is now named Billy. I wonder if that's actually going to carry throughout the rest of the song.
Fights over little shit up on the block. Stepped up to selling mothers and brothers the crack rock. Working overtime, making money for the crack spot. Hit the jackpot and wanted to move up to cocaine. Fulfilling the Scarface fantasy stuck in his brain. Tired of the block niggas treating him the same. He wanted to be...
Oh god, yeah, Scarface, that actually, it did glorify the drug game. I mean, yes, Tony Montana did die, but prior to actually getting there, he made money, he had everything he wanted. I mean, it was, yeah, that really did glamorize the drug life. Well, that's unavoidable. So let's continue. Let's take it back a bit.
Scarface fantasy stuck in his brain. Tired of the block niggas treating him the same. He wanted to be major like the cutthroats and the thugs, but when he tried to step to him, niggas showed him no love. They told him any motherfucking coward can sell drugs. Any bitch nigga with a gun can bust slugs. Any nigga with a red shirt can front like a blood. Even Puffy smoked the motherfucker up in the club, but only a real thug can stab someone till they die. Standing in front of them, staring straight into their eyes, Billy realized that these men were well guarded, and they wanted to test him before business started. Suggested raping a bitch to prove he was cold-hearted. So now he had a choice between going back to his life or making money with made men. Up in the sight, his dreams about cars and ice made him agree a hardcore nigga is all he ever wanted to be. And so he met them Friday night at 2:45.
Well, that took us seriously after down. I mean, it was already bad enough, but it's like his need to belong, his need to be seen as someone who is, I guess, like this, he said, made man. He's willing to do whatever it takes, and it seems each decision he makes towards that goal takes a darker and darker turn, which I'm actually kind of afraid to see where this actually goes. I have to say, this is really intense and very interesting storytelling about how things could really go wrong.
Everyone trying to be trife never face the consequences. You probably only did a month for minor offenses. Ask a nigga doing life if he had another chance. But then again, there's always the wicked that knew in advance. Dance forever with the devil on a cold cell block. But that's what happens when you rape, murder, and sell rock. Devils used to be God's angels that fell from the top. There's no diversity because we're burning in the melting pot. They drove around the project slow while it was raining, smoking blunts, drinking and joking for entertainment, until they saw a woman on the street walking alone, 3 in the morning, coming back from work on the way home. And so they quietly got out the car and followed her, walking through the projects. The darkness swallowed her. They wrapped her shirt around their head and knocked her onto the floor. This is it, kid, now you got your chance to be raw. So Billy yoked her up and grabbed the chick by the hair and dragged her into a lobby that had nobody there. She struggled hard, but they forced her to go up the stairs. They got to the roof and then held her down on the ground, screaming, "Shut the fuck up and stop moving around." The shirt covered her face, but she screamed and clawed. So Billy stomped on the bitch till he broke in her jaw. Them dirty bastards knew exactly what they were doing. They kicked her until they cracked her ribs and she stopped moving. Blood leaking through the cloth, she cried silently. And then they all proceeded to rape her violently. Billy was made to go first, but each of them took a turn, ripping her up and choking her until her throat burned. Her broken jaw mumbled for God, but they weren't concerned. When they were done and she was lying bloody, broken and bruised, one of them niggas pulled out a brand new 22. They told him that she was a witness for what she'd gone through, and if he killed her, he was guaranteed a spot in the crew. He thought about it for a minute. She was practically dead, and so he leaned over and put the...
Crap, I can only imagine that could actually be his mom. Oh, that is some seriously fucked up shit. Holy crap, okay, wow, okay, yeah, let's continue.
Gun right to her head.
I'm falling and I can't turn back. I'm falling and I can't turn back.
Right before he pulled the trigger and ended her life, he thought about the cocaine with the platinum and ice, and he felt strong standing along with his new brothers. Cocked the gat to her head and pulled back the shirt cover, but what he saw made him start to cringe and stutter, cause he was staring into the eyes of his own mother. She looked back at him and cried cause he had forsaken her. She cried more painfully, and when they were raping her, his whole world stopped. He couldn't even contemplate. His corruption had successfully changed his fate, and he remembered how his mom used to come home late, working hard for nothing, cause now what was he worth? He turned away from the woman that had once given him birth, and crying out to the sky cause he was lonely and scared, but only the devil responded cause God wasn't there. And right then he knew what it was to be empty and cold, and so he jumped off the roof and died with no soul. They say death takes you to a better place, but I doubt it. After that they killed his mother and never spoke about it. And listen, cause the story that I'm telling is true, cause I was there with Billy Jacobs and I raped his mom too. And now the devil follows me everywhere that I go. In fact, I'm sure he's standing among one of you at my shows, in every street cipher listening to little thugs flow. He could be standing right next to you and you wouldn't know. The devil grows.
Oh wow, okay, I don't know if it's actually a true story. I don't think anyone would be crazy enough to actually release a track talking about a crime they actually committed. So I'm assuming he's sort of making a statement about stuff like that. I'm like, the fact that he can actually think about things like this, it means it probably has happened, and someone out there has actually done the exact same thing or something similar. But yeah, that just went. It went from a promising young kid to just desolation. That's what I have to say. It's like there is no coming back from that. He had no. I don't think he had any course of action after all what happened to his mom. That is just Jesus. You know what I'm actually curious about is, like, did they intentionally target the mom just to, I don't know, I think that's just too cruel. I don't care. Well, who knows, you know? That's the life, man. You never know. You never know. Wow, I'm sorry. Let's just finish this stuff because this is so messed up.
inside the hearts of the selfish and wicked. White, brown, yellow, and black color is not restricted. You have a self-destructive destiny when you're inflicted, and you'll be one of God's children that fell from the top. There's no diversity because we're burning in the melting pot. So when the devil wants to dance with you, you better say never, because a dance with the devil might last you forever.
That's true. It's like we're all at a melting point in the world. It's like you just have to say no, do your best, get out. So do not put yourself in a situation whereby you end up making choices like this. At least do your best to make sure that's not the case. I mean, I know it's not possible for everyone. There might be chances whereby you're not given a choice. It could be either this or death. I know it's tragic. I'm not gonna lie here and say no, everyone can. Yeah, no, it is. The world is a melting point, and there's so many things going on that we aren't really aware. But all I have to say is do your best and get out of it. Do not fall into a situation like this. I know it's not easy. Shit happens. I'm not aware, but you gotta do everything you can to get out, and or to not be in there, or get out while you still can before you lose your soul. Well, all I can say is, I guess I should have expected this to be as tragic as it got, or at least that it's actually going to be a downer. I mean, as I said earlier, the movie Love Story, even though it says love story, it's one giant ball of tragedy. So there we go. That was really, really brutal. Wasn't expecting that. I really don't know what to say. I think I've actually said as much as I can during the video, during the reaction. But yeah, I guess I would have to term Immortal Technique as a conscious writer, rapper. He's someone who actually uses rap, hip hop as a way to spread his message, social consciousness, introspective, the way he actually sees society and what's actually going on. This is his medium and this is what he does. So he is a very good storyteller. I have to give him that. It is well done. The way it's presented, I could actually see the slow descent to hell, so to speak, of the character, and it was well done, and you could tell that it's going to be tragic. I mean, you couldn't tell exactly how tragic it is, but you could tell it was going to be, and it's like you sort of knew where he was going, that this was not a tale of redemption at all. This was, again, descent to hell. Yeah, it was like we have to learn not to be greedy, I guess. Learn to accept, or at least we should try to change our situation without actually letting it consume us. I don't know. That was a little bit hard to watch, to listen to. Yeah. I guess I should say something about the video. Actually, that's a very interesting take. It looks something like from the 90s, obviously, or early 2000, and I love the mix of what's it called, live performance and animation. It's like it actually blended well. I mean, I would have, to be honest, maybe it should have been either a straight animation or a straight live performance. The short video actually kind of, I mean, it is interesting. It actually mimics the song, but at the same time, I think I would have loved to actually have that, use my imagination to actually envision what was actually happening. I think that impact would have been a bit much more. The impact, it would have hit a lot harder, which I guess in its own way, it's actually a good thing that I had this version. But I feel as though if I'd actually, you know, because basically initially at the beginning, it's the storytelling, it actually kind of sucked you in. It's like you're actually there watching the events take place. Then the animation kind of pulls you out of it because now you're actually seeing the scene as opposed to experiencing it mentally. I don't know. That's just me. Let me know what you guys think about it. That was very well done. That was very hard to watch, hard to listen, hard to internalize. Life is tough. And it's like basically, I think as a whole, it's talking about how it's like the circle of violence. It's like how we as a people treat other people, especially the women who are actually there, who raise us, who give birth to us, raise us, take care of us, and in the end, we turn out and treat them really, really badly. I mean, I think that's also another layer in the song. It's like you can see these guys descend into madness, into hell, and you can see how society undervalues women, the mothers who raise us, which is a problem, and it perpetuates this really, really, really crazy circle of where these young men out there do not respect the women who actually raise them. They claim to do, but they don't, and it's like you treat women a certain way. It ends up creating this circle when they end up having kids, and their kids see the way they're treating other women, and it's seen as normal, as the way it should be done, and it just keeps going on in a really, really vicious circle. So it's very deep. I'd really have to go back and some other time and listen to the track and see if I could decipher some more things. It's very, very layered. It sounds straightforward, but I think it's actually very layered. It's like this whole giant ball talking about society and how fucked up it can be and how we need to do our best to unfuck it up. So kudos, 2 thumbs up to Immortal Technique. I mean, it's a classic. I'm not surprised it's actually a classic. Alright. Anyway, this is your boy Jack. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification button. Let you know when next I drop a new vid. Don't forget to leave comments down below. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you want me to react to. If you've got anything to say, just say hey. If you have some criticism or anything you wish to add, please don't hesitate to leave the comments down below. Please be constructive about it. I really do enjoy seeing other perspective to things. You just have to actually say it in a manner that is respectful and constructive. That's basically it. And I will read them and I will ingest them, so to speak, and I will, of course, everything you read, everything you come in contact with sort of changes you in a way. So leaving stuff like that, which is very constructive, which does make you grow. So please, let's grow together. How about that? Alright, this is your boy Jack. Y'all take care, and I'll catch you on the flip side.